I'll start my journey off in the fall of 2019. I got a call one day, 3 o'clock in the morning. My daughter was in intensive care in Owen Sound. I fought a early November snowstorm driving up to Owen Sound and didn't get there in time. Lost my daughter to suicide, and that from there forward has been a very dark time in my life. My name is Darren Gilroy. I have been here at Sun Life for over 20 years. I have a passion for mental health, raising my children, making an impact on the world. The folks around me at work, I can't even describe how supportive people were. To be a transparent leader, I couldn't just suddenly not share. So I shared in the blog, and the reach out that I got was tremendous. But it wasn't enough. I remember coming into work one day, it was cold, it was dark, and I just didn't have it in me. And I thought, what, I need to see a therapist. And I found one actually in our building. And she was fantastic, really helped me through some short-term issues as I dealt with the challenges that come from losing a child and losing somebody so close to you, and be able to cope. But at the same time, she and I didn't necessarily have the connection that I thought. And I think a lot of people feel like if they're not getting what they need out of therapy, then they think therapy is not right for them. But what I would recommend to everybody before they make that conclusion is to see 2, 3, 4 therapists and find somebody that connects with you. And I did that. I found a second therapist. He's been fantastic. I saw him last week. And now that I've kind of gone through some of those larger challenge and issues, and we come back to those often, trust me, but I'm in a much better place than I was then. We're dealing with other things that I didn't even realize were issues, but by talking about them and dealing with them, it's making my mental health a lot more balanced. I struggled from the time I was 1 because my mother also committed suicide. So I am sandwiched between a mother and a daughter, trying to figure out how do I find meaning and joy in this world when I am dealing with the loss of family members like I have. I think the first thing that I learned was I needed to make my mental health a priority. The world's not going to give you all the support you want without you making it a priority and having conversations. I spoke at a panel last week for CAMH Summit for business leaders, and through that course, the 3 panelists revealed that they were all seeing therapists. They were all in therapy. So I would say, I bet you many more people around you than you know are seeing a therapist. And find one. Have a conversation with them. What's working for them? What's not working for them? Did they find a therapist in the first time? Or did it take 2 or 3 therapists before they found one that was right for them? Last September, I found out the day before. The next day was Suicide Prevention Day. And I couldn't sleep. And I ended up writing this very personal post on LinkedIn on the experience of going up to Owen Sound and, wishing that Amy had understood the support that she could have had. There is a stigma for mental health. There is an additional stigma for suicide. And then I'm like, am I doing my daughter justice by sharing so openly? What some people might feel is a weakness on her part. But at the end of the day, I thought, to try to make something so meaningless, meaningful. This may help others in this situation. And it has. Someone reached out to me from work and said, hey, my child is struggling. She's struggling with gender identity. I found notes in her closet that suggested that she may not want to live. What do I do? And the first thing that I always say is see a therapist. And she did, and she was, and so was her child. And I said, hey, I know another leader in the organization whose child struggled with the same gender identity issues. Maybe you should go talk to her. And they've been connected ever since. Again, we talk about it starts with conversation, because you just don't know what others are going through, and you don't realize some of the outcomes that you can have if you lean into the support that's out there, whether it's therapy, whether it's mental health, whether it's having those conversations, whether it's being out in the sun. You just don't know. So when you don't know, because your mind is so cloudy, so dark, so foggy, others have to show you the way. So I used our mobile app, which is really fantastic. Like, to be able to go on an app when you are in that place where you can hardly help yourself. You can't navigate a complicated system, that it better be easy to find help, because if not, it's just not going to be possible.